Hey guys, welcome back. In this video I'm going to show you how to play Kerry's song from Cyberpunk 2077. So let's get into it. So for this song we are in standard tuning and all the tabs for this lesson are available on my Patreon page. You can check out the link down below. So I've divided this song into 4 different parts. We have the first verse, then we have the chorus. After that we have the bridge and then we have the second verse. So let's start with the first verse. It sounds like this. So the very first part there sounds like this. So you have this chord, you have the 2nd fret of the A string and the 4th fret of the D string. You plug the A and D strings together and then you slap like that. And if you don't know that technique, you're basically using a thumb on the right hand to slap onto the lower strings, the E and the A string, to make that percussive sound like that. So you have this. And after that you have this part. So there you're plucking the A string, then the D string, and then the open B string. Like that, in that order. So altogether you have this. And then you have this part. So there you change to this chord where you have the 2nd fret of the low E string and the 2nd fret of the D string. You start by playing this. So there you pluck the low E string and the D string together 2 times like that. So you have this. So there, if you notice, you have to mute the chord once in the middle there after playing it for the first time. Like that. So you do that by lifting your fingers up and letting go of the chord, but you have to keep the fingers on the strings. Like that. And then you have this part. So there you play the low E string once and then the D string, and then you slide up to the 4th fret of the D string. Like that. And after that you just have to add a slap in the middle there. So right after you plug the chord 2 times, you slap and then you do the slide. Like that. And then you have this part. So right after you played this part, you hold on to this chord, the 3rd fret of the low E string and the 4th fret of the D string. And you play that. So there you're plucking the E and the D string together first. And then you're playing the D string 2 more times. And after that you play the 5th fret of the D string. And then you play the 4th fret of the D string. Like that. So from the start so far we have this. And then we have this part. So there we move back down to the 2nd fret of the D string. Play that note 2 times. And then we play the low E string, which is open. And then we let go of this note and we play the D string. And then we do this. So there you play the open D string. And then you hammer on onto the 2nd fret of the D string. And then you let go and play the open D string once. Like that. So you have this. So altogether from the start again we have this. And after that we have this part. So there in the end we just played this. Where we play the 2nd fret of the G string and the 2nd fret of the D string. So it's exactly the same till you reach this point. Up until there it's exactly the same. and then you just add that part in the end. So all together from the start, so far we have this. And after that we have this. So there, just like before, we just add this part in the end, where we play the second fret of the D string and then the second fret of the A string, like that. So again from the start, all together we have this. And after that we have this part. So there you start by plucking the first chord, the chord where you have the second fret of the A string and the fourth fret of the D string. Pluck them both together, then you slap. Then you play the A string and then the D string separately. Like that. And then you change to this chord where you have the second fret of the low E string and the second fret of the D string. And you play something similar. You pluck the chord first, the E and the D string. Then you slap. And then you play the low E string, then the D string separately. Like that. And then you do this. So there you change the chord to this. So this finger stays on the second fret of the D string. So you have to play the third fret of the low E string with your ring finger. And you pluck the low E string and the D string together. And then you pull off from the second fret of the D string to the open D string. Like that. So I'll play that very last bit once really slow. And all together you have this. So that's the whole first verse. I'll play the whole thing once really slow. It sounds like this. And after that you have the chorus, which sounds like this. So the chorus is where you start strumming. You start with this B minor chord where you bar across the second fret starting from the A string all the way up to the high E string. And then you have the fourth fret of the D string, the fourth fret of the G string and the third fret of the B string. So you start by playing the root note, which is the bass note, the lowest note on the A string. And then you play this. So you play 3 down strokes followed by an upstroke. Down, 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 up. Like that. I'll do that one more time really slow. And then you have this chord. So there you have the same thing. Where you play this chord, you have the second fret of the low E string. You can also play it with the index finger if you want and play the chord like this. I like to use my thumb to play that note. Then you have the second fret of the G string, the second fret of the B string and the second fret of the high E string. Like that. It's an F sharp minor chord. So there, just like before, you start by playing the bass note on the low E string. and then you do this. So on the right hand, you're just playing the same strumming pattern, down, 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 up. But on the second downstroke, you're letting go of this note. So now you have the open high E string over there. So just like before, you start by playing the bass note on the low E string, and then you have this. So on the right hand, you have the same strumming pattern, down, 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 up. And here on the left hand, on the second downstroke, you let go of this note and you have the open high E string ringing out. So you just play it with that note for the first downstroke. And then you lift it up. Like that. I'll do that one more time really slow. So if I play it all together from the start, you have this. And then we have this part. So there you have this. So you start with this chord where you have the third fret of the low E string and the second fret of the high E string there. The G and B strings there are open. Like that. You start by playing this, where you're playing down, up, down with this chord. And then you add this note onto the third fret on the upstroke there. And then on the downstroke, you lift it back up to the second fret there. And then you do a downstroke with the open G, B and high E strings. Like that. I'll do that one more time really slow. And after that you have this part. So there you switch to an E minor chord and you start by playing the bass note, which is the open low E string. And then you play this. So there you change to this E minor chord where you have the second fret of the A string and the second fret of the D string. All the rest of the strings are open. So you start by playing the bass note on the low E string, which is open. And then you play this. So there you play two downstrokes on the E minor chord. And on the upstroke you add this note, the note on the third fret of the B string, which makes it an E minor 7. And then you lift it back up, so now you have the open B string, and then you do a down and then an upstroke. Like that. I'll do that one more time really slow. So altogether from the B minor chord we have this. And then we have this part. So you start off the same way like you did before. And then you have a different part over here. So there you have this chord again. You have the third fret of the low E string and the second fret of the high E string. You start by playing down, up on this chord. And then you add this note onto the fifth fret of the high E string. And then you play that with the downstroke. Like that. And after that you have this. So there you have this part, where you play the open G string with the fifth fret of the B string with the downstroke, and then you slide up to the sixth fret, like that. And then you have this part. So before I go into the next part on the E minor chord, I'm going to play the previous part once really slow. So it sounds like this. One more time really slow. And then you have this. So there you start by playing the low E string, which is the bass note, which is open. And then you have this. So there you play a downstroke with the E minor chord. And on the upstroke you add this note on the 3rd fret of the B string. Like that. And you repeat that once. And in the end you just play a downstroke and an upstroke with just the E minor chord. Like that. So altogether you have this. One more time really slow. So if I play the progression once with the last 4 chords, it sounds like this. One more time really slow. And after that you just repeat the first part that you played before. And right after that you have this. So you start off the same way like you played before. And over there you just let the chord ring with the downstroke. And then you have this part. So there you play the open low E string with the note on the 2nd fret of the high E string. You plug them both together. And then you slide up to the 5th fret of the high E string. Like that. And then you plug this note again, the note on the 5th fret. And you slide up to the 7th fret. Like that. So the very last part sounds like this. So if I play the entire chorus once from the start, it sounds like this. After this we have the bridge. I'm going to play it from the last bit of the chorus. It sounds like this. So right after we played that last bit from the chorus, you have this part, where you slide down from the 7th to the 5th fret on the B string. Like that. You start and pick you start by picking the note on the 7th fret, and then you slide down to the 5th fret really quickly. Like that. And after that you have this part. So right after the slide there you switch to this B minor chord, but this time you don't have to bar with your index finger, you're just playing this note, the note on the 2nd fret of the A string. Apart from that you have the 4th fret of the D string, the 4th fret of the G string, the 3rd fret of the B string, and the open high E string. So the part that you need to play sounds like this. So you start by plucking the A string and the open high E string together. Then you play the B string and then the G string. And after that you slap. And right after the slap you have this. So there you play the G string, then the D string. So if you play it from the last part of the chorus till this point, you have this. And after that you have this part. So there you have the exact same chord shape, but you just have to change the bass note to the 2nd fret of the low E string. And now you have to play this. So there you plug the low E string and the B string together, and then you play the G string, and then you slap, like that. And right after the slap you play this, where you play the low E string, then the G string, and then the B string. So all together you have this. I'll play that one more time really slow. And then you have this part. So there you have this chord, where you have the third fret of the low E string, and you're plucking it with the open high E string, like that. And you have this part after that. So you just need to add this note on the third fret of the B string, and you have to play the high E string, then the B string, then the high E string again, then the B string again, and then the high E string again. So the high E string is open over there, like that. I'll do that one more time really slow. And then you have this part. So there you just need to play the note on the second fret of the high E string, and then you play the low E string, which is open, and then the B string, which is also open, like that. So all together you have this. So that's the whole bridge. I'm going to play it once really slow. It sounds like this. After that you have the second verse, which sounds like this. So it starts off the same way. It's exactly the same till a certain point. So if you play it from the start, it sounds like this. Up until there, it's exactly the same. And after that, you have this new part. There you start with this slightly different chord. You have this chord where you have the second fret of the A string, the fourth fret of the D string, and the second fret of the G string there. So the fourth fret here, this you have to play it with your little finger this time. So the part that you have to play sounds like this. So you start by plucking the A and the D string together, and then you play the A string again, then the B string, which is open, and then the G string. Like that. And right after that you have this part. So there you have this chord where you have the second fret of the low E string and the second fret of the D string. You start by playing this, where you plug the low E and the D string together, and then you pull off from the second fret of the D string to the open D string, while you have to keep this finger right there. So this finger stays there. You're just pulling off from here, like that. So the part that you need to play sounds like this. So once you do the pull off, you bring that note back in and you do another pull off after playing that note, and then you bring it back in and you play that 2 times, the second fret, like that. Then you have this part. So there you change the chord to this, where you're playing the third fret of the low E string and the second fret of the D string. Plug them both together, and then you play the second fret of the D string 2 more times, and after that you have this. So there you play the fourth fret of the D string with your little finger, then the second fret, and then the open D string, So altogether you have this. And right after that, you have this part. So there you change the chord to this, where you're playing the second fret of the A string. So you play that with the open low E string, plug the low E string and the A string together, and you have this. So right after plucking them both together, you play the A string 2 more times, and then you play the open A string, and then you bring this note back in and play it 2 more times. So if I play it really slow, it sounds like this. So if I play the whole thing once from the start till here, you have this. And then the next part sounds like this. So you start from this note on the second fret of the A string. So you plug that once, and then you plug that 2 more times. And then you have this, where you play the 5th fret of the A string, then the 2nd fret of the D string, and then the 4th fret of the D string. So altogether you have this. And right after you played this note, you have to immediately play the note on the 2nd fret of the low E string. Like that. I'll play that one more time really slow. And then you have this part. So there you have this, where you're playing the note on the 2nd fret of the A string 2 times, then the 5th fret once, and then you play the 2nd fret of the G string, and then the 4th fret of the D string. And in the end you just play the bass note on the 3rd fret of the low E string, while the note on the 4th fret of the D string there is still ringing, like that. So altogether the whole thing sounds like this. One more time really slow. So that's the entire second verse. If I play the whole thing once from the start, it sounds like this. And after that in the song you have the chorus again, which is exactly the same as what you played before. So that's the whole song. You just need to know those individual parts to play the whole thing. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope this helped. All the tabs for this lesson are available on my Patreon page. If you'd like to see more videos like this one, then subscribe to my channel. Also, if you have any questions or requests for song tutorials, let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. I'll see you in the next video.